Fam of Liberty and everyone else watching this video who isn't following Sons of Liberty for some unknown reason. It's your boy Big Sarge, also sometimes known as Admin Tim. I am the founder of the Sons of Liberty social media organization that's been steadily enraging MAGA fuckface ass clowns since 2015. If you saw us out in the streets at a protest for the first time or you're new to our channel, I know what you might be thinking, what with the beard and the vet bro look and the hat and shit, so let me get this out of the way. Fuck Donald Trump, fuck MAGA traitors, fuck GOP politicians, fuck these limp dick establishment Democrat politicians that aren't out there in the streets fighting for us every day, and also fuck billionaires, fucking leeches, wealth hoarders that have their fucking boots on the neck of just about every American citizen. Neither this channel nor its comment sections or any other social media space for Sons of Liberty are a safe space for bootlicking simps, for a wannabe king, a Russian asset, 34-time convicted felon, adjudicated rapist, Wish.com fascist oligarch, failed insurrectionist, failed businessman who has multiple bankruptcies and failed business ventures, wannabe authoritarian tyrant, self-confessed lover of very young girls, an admitted sexual predator, a guy who was best friends for over a decade with convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. I'm talking about Donald Trump, and you fucking know it. Now that you know where I stand on things, if you're still here and you're not frantically rage typing into the comments sections like a triggered conservative snowflake who's ass mad about fat generals and admirals but didn't have shit to say about the National Guard troops from Texas, then maybe you should consider following this channel after you watch the video and deciding whether or not you like the cut of my jib. And also, I'm probably about to piss off some of y'all that are going to clutch your pearls and be like, you shouldn't be fat shaming people, but I'm going to fucking do it anyway because fuck it. Texas Governor Greg Abbott says he's deployed his, get this, elite troops from Texas National Guard to Illinois. Now, nobody in fucking Illinois asked for this, so it's surreal to me to see a state's National Guard invading another American state against that state's wishes. Can you imagine how badly Texas would be howling if a Yankee state governor refused to respect another state's sovereignty and states' rights? Imagine the outcry from Governor Abbott if it was Texas on the receiving end of unwanted National Guard from Oregon or Illinois or California. But let me pivot real quickly to something else. I'm going to say pivot again later. I can feel it. Dale Dye is a retired Marine Corps officer and combat veteran who went on to found a military technical advisory company, which became a Hollywood institution. In the process, Dale also became an actor, appearing as military officers in war movies such as Platoon and Saving Private Ryan. As a military officer of a certain age from a certain era, I guess it should be no surprise that he's conservative. But what really has me shooketh, however, is how much he's turned into a MAGA bootlicker. He recently put out a blog piece written from his perspective as a retired military officer on Secretary of Defense Pete Whiskey Leaks Kegbreath's stupid performative antics in front of a room full of senior enlisted and flag officers at Quantico, Virginia. Dale's blog article shifts from neutral to, and I quote, "I was on my feet applauding." Now, it's no secret that a lot of veterans are conservative, but it's also no secret that a lot of us are not. And in addition to that, a growing number of veterans are thoroughly fed up with MAGA bullshit and are joining the ranks of pissed off veterans on nonpartisan issues. And the comment sections on Dale's post is ample proof of both sides wanting to weigh in. Yes, that's a physical fatness pun that was definitely intended because I'm not a coward. Wanting to weigh in on the subject of Kegbreath's mandates. For those of you that don't know, there is a perception that generals don't do PT and are exempt from it. And whilst there are flag officers, admirals and generals with a pronounced dad bod or beer gut, the majority of them are not. Furthermore, a lot of these flag officers are constantly on the move, not riding a desk. They're often awake at obscenely early hours, surviving on coffee and hate, checking out areas of responsibility, and handling a wide range of issues not just at unit levels, but also major commands and even congressional levels. They are constantly on the move, and it shows in their physique. It's hard to tell from the scant amount of photos that we've seen of the Quantico meeting, but of the photos that did exist, I had a hard time finding any fat generals or admirals. And when I made a comment on Dale's post, the typical MAGA bootlickers came out to parrot the talking points about fat officers. I'm absolutely scornful of idiots who look at a thing and accept at face value based on their partisan confirmation bias that they're being told the truth, especially where it pertains to something coming out of a politician or political operative's mouth. This is especially true of MAGA world. I'm going to pivot from that talking point to the news that broke yesterday of Texas National Gardeners arriving in Chicago, Illinois. See, I said pivot again. Pivot. Now, it's no secret that there's a large amount of inter-service rivalry between branches of service, and that includes between active duty and guard or reserve. I'm no different in that regard. I'm just as quick to talk shit about crayon-eating Marines and being an ASVAB waiver as I am to make fun of National Guard. I've said everything from weekend warriors to national lard, and what with guard troops in DC picking up trash instead of fighting crime, I've started using the term National Gardeners as well. So when Texas Governor Greg Abbott says he's deployed his elite troops and then ABC News posts a photo of these elite troops of the Texas Guard arriving in Chicago, it immediately struck a nerve, and I'm not the only vet bro who had 1,000 quips to say about the photo. First of all, you're not fooling anyone, Abbott. As a whole, the Guard is not elite, and even they know that. Second of all, there's a reason that Guard troops are stereotyped as fat. We literally just roasted Pete Kegbreath for talking about fat generals and admirals, and here we have America's citizen soldiers on display being thick as fuck for the camera. This is not the photo op that the Trump administration thought it was. And far be it from me to fat shame anyone. I'm not a skinny man by any stretch, and I haven't been since I was a teenager. I got a wee bit of a whiskey belly now, but I spend several days a week in the gym picking up heavy plates and putting them back down again. And I don't skip leg day, nor do I skip cardio. But when troops are weaponized as pawns by a former Guard officer who is posted to the position of Secretary of Defense, and that SecDef then attacks our military for being overweight, having shaven profiles, which, by the way, primarily targets black soldiers, condemns female hairstyles, says that females must meet male physical fitness standards, says that the military is no longer doing anything to protect sexual assault victims, that soldiers with misconduct charges should not have their careers ruined, and that our gay and trans soldiers are no longer welcome. And when the president deploys Guard troops from other states into blue states and blue cities because he wants to distract the nation from the fact that he's in the Epstein files, then by all means, I'm absolutely going to start dunking on the so-called elite troops that Governor Abbott is deploying. Because you can't get away with criticizing admirals, generals, and senior enlisted personnel simply because they're not having any of your whippersnapper bullshit and then turn around and deploy fat troops and not be called on your hypocritical bullshit. Hell no. And it 100% falls on both the individual soldier and the unit to enforce standards. And look, I get it. These are part-time soldiers, but I don't fucking care. You have an obligation, same as I did when I was in. And I also get being a big boy and being in the military. When you don't fit the nation's antiquated height and weight standards, every single time that you take a PT test, you're going to get taped to check your body mass composition. And yeah, there are standards for that too. When I was in, these standards hadn't changed much at all from the 1950s. So being 5'9", aka 69 inches, hell yeah, I had to be under 175 pounds, which for me was basically what I weighed in high school. So every time I took a PT test, I knew that I'd be standing around an extra hour at the weigh-in so First Sergeant could wrap the seamstress tape around my waist and my neck. Fortunately, I got a thick fucking neck, which meant that all I had to do was make sure that I did a lot of abdominal workouts when I went to the gym for PT or on my own time. National Guard and reserve units traditionally pencil whip or look the other way when they have a fat soldier. And to some extent, this may happen in active duty Army units, especially if the soldier is valuable or fills a critical role. But if you're going to complain about crime and then send in the Guard after you just tried to convince your dwindling MAGA base that senior officers are all fat and demand everyone uphold the highest male physical fitness standards, then you'd better send in your fittest Guard troops and not your tactical manatees, because what we got was the green buffets and the special courses, aka Delta Forks, the Gravy SEALs from Meal Team 6, or is it Meal Team Thicks? Thicks. See what I did there? On their battle rattle, it says their blood type is country gravy. This is the highest male standard that Secretary Kegbreath was talking about. These guys definitely give truth to the saying, everything is bigger in Texas. Are they body doubles and stunt stand-ins for Paul Blart 2 from mall cop to political prop? Did these guys find out about a potential deployment and decide, I'm going to eat my way into the Food for Freedom program? Are we saving Private Ryan, what, a plate of barbecue? Is this Operation Dessert Storm or Operation Deep Dish? Are we preparing for McD-Day or Hamburger Helper Hill? Semper Fries or Semper Pie? That's the Marines. My bad, Crayola crew. All right, that's enough Dunkin' on overweight soldiers. And before the pearl clutchers get in my fucking comments talking about fat shaming, as a thick big boy myself and as a former professional non-commissioned officer, I am 100% in my lane about holding soldiers accountable for their personal choices that take them outside of long established military regulations, especially when they were sent by the administration that just said all troops need to be in shape. Round is a shape, but it's not an acceptable shape for the military, especially when you're supposed to be fighting crime. You can't fight crime when you can't chase bad guys, which is why you see fat cops shooting suspects, because they can't catch them, so they may as well just shoot them. Speaking of crime, let's be honest here. The homicide rate in California is 4.95 per every 100,000. In Oregon, it's 4.46 per 100,000. The homicide rate in Texas is 6.05 per every 100,000 people. Y'all see the problem here? And what happened to the border crisis in Texas? Did Governor Abbott discover that illegal immigrants can walk faster than his doughboys can waddle? I mean, I think, no, the fuck they didn't. Did we suddenly win that war, or did we just no longer need to deploy guard troops along the Texas border? I smell a conspiracy, and that conspiracy is Trump will do everything he can to ramp up the tension in American cities to distract everyone from the fact that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. Epstein did not kill himself, and Donald Trump flew on Epstein's plane at least 9 times. Release the fucking Epstein files, MAGA, and stop simping for pedophiles. On that note, and here comes my wife. Here comes a shameless self-plug. Yesterday I put up a GOP Guardians of Pedophiles shirt in the Sons of Liberty merch store because a couple people asked for it. I also put up a shirt with Norse runes, specifically Elder Futhark runes that say Forseti hates MAGA. Forseti is the Norse god of justice and reconciliation, and since MAGA loves to try and co-opt Nordic and Viking culture like Swedaboos, like Valhalla ninjas, I figured it's appropriate to remind them that there are no Nazis in Valhalla. And since I'm on the subject, I also put up a variant of my Dixon Cider shirt, since someone asked for that as well. In other merch news, since y'all asked me in the comments and on Discord and in the live stream chat last night, I'm standing up a second merch store. This one is on Shopify for Big Sarge's Super Woke Coffee, which a lot of you have been asking for. Also, someone asked about Sons of Liberty patches, and the answer to that is that I'm doing a second round of patches exclusively, same as the last batch, on the Sons of Liberty Discord server. There's a whole channel exclusively devoted to Liberty patches. Last night on the Sons of Liberty live stream with Kira Havens of Citizens Impeachment, I indicated that there's so much bullshit happening on a day-to-day basis that I can't decide which way to go when it's time for me to do a rant video. I've mentioned in the past that I need a writing team to help me stay focused and stay grounded for that matter. So if you're a writer and you want to help out, hit me up on the Sons of Liberty Discord server. That's going to be my time for today. Those of you who still pray, keep admin Doug and his family in your prayers. They're going through some challenging times right now. That's all I'm going to say, because it's not my place to talk about his personal business. Doug, I love you. We've got your 6, fam. Big Sarge, out here. 2 claps and a Rick. 1 team, 1 fight. Join or die. Woo! Deuces. Actually, that's probably Quattros.
And now it's time for the throw punch!